when I first started on, The Terrible Plot was the first picture book I ever did, and I remember when I did it, when I started doing pictures for it, I did it in quite a few different styles initially. So I did something which was more like a traditional watercolour illustration, and Ursula said to me she wanted the book, yeah, that's all right, you wanted the book to be almost like a surprise on each page, with each page turn.
That's lovely.
And that really stuck with me, so I tried to make it almost like a big series of posters. But I was aware that it'd be read to a large group. So I found it really almost liberating to think of it in those terms. It gave me something concrete to hand.
Look, certainly in writing all three of these books, and I suppose, definitely with this one, it seems to me it's not all picture books, but certain kinds of picture books are really, they're performance pieces. Like they will be read, alone in bed or with one parent. But even with one parent, it can be like a performance. But definitely with, any groups of children, I think of it almost like as a dramatic performance. So that must have been, I guess, what I was talking about. I don't remember saying that, but that sense of
a new
constant
scene.
Engagement, I guess, in a way. So very audience conscious, which is, very different to writing a novel or writing a book that you read silently to yourself. So, certainly with all of these three books, we've definitely thought of them in those terms. Yeah. And whenever we're working on something new, we often talk in those terms about it, don't we? This will work well, almost like as a dramatic.
Yeah, even so with Too Many Elephants.
Yeah.
I thought of the cover looking like a house, and then you open it up, and so the elephants inside sort of match what you see through the window.
Yes.
Almost like you're making the book into a toy, or like a game that you can play with a large group or just at home or something like that. So there is always that performance and sort of play aspect.
Like a
to the
little
book.
piece of theatre inside the book.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And also, I guess, we wanted to make it very easy for anybody to read aloud.
Yep.
That's sort of important too, that it's, and I think particularly in the editing, that's a lot of what we see what people stumble on when they read it, and to try and make it so that it's got its own, for anybody can pick it up and make it a pleasure to read.
Yes. Well, let's talk about Tim and Ed for a minute, because this is the most recent book, and it's absolutely hilariously, but kind of poignant as well. Hilariously funny, but kind of poignant as well.
Yeah.
And there's such wonderful characters. How did this come about?
Well, look, I originally wrote a prose story about, I had a sort of an image of a man with two little twin boys, so a human with two little boys, and I wrote it as a prose story, and perhaps for slightly older children, more like a nibble or something. And then I don't know what possessed me to rewrite it in rhyme. I think, I so much enjoyed writing The Terrible Plot in rhyme. I love rhyme, and I love reading rhyme as well to kids. And I was just looking at it one day, and so I sort of rewrote it as rhyme. And then, I guess, at that stage, I suppose maybe somewhere in my head I was starting to think they could be animals. And then I guess, Andy came on board, and we thought of various kinds of animals. You probably remember more the animals that we went through until we got to the koalas.
We did guinea pigs.
Yeah.
That was very brief.
Would have been challenging.
Yeah. I did kangaroos.
The kangaroos
I definitely
were
drew
beautiful.
kangaroos for quite a while.
Yeah.
But I really want them to look like children, I guess.
Yes.
And kangaroos are a challenge to bring into
those tails.
Once you start putting clothes on them, it becomes a bit tricky.
They looked fantastic, but that's right. And then I think I had a sudden thought, I wondered if you could even have twin kangaroos. I thought maybe they don't exist. And so I was looking on the internet for pictures of twin kangaroos, and up came twin koalas, this photograph of these beautiful twin koalas, and then it just seemed like maybe they could be koalas. And that it was around about then.
We did want them to be Australian animals once we decided on the kangaroo, we wanted them to be Australian animals.
That's right.
Yeah. It's probably the cosiest book we've done, I think.
Yes, I suppose that's what I meant, was it's a bit different to these two. It's very, very warm, isn't it? It's just sort of...
It feels that like there's a lot of love and a lot of friendship and a lot of,
Yeah, we wanted... we both wanted sort of a loving, warm sense to it, I think.